we'll skip that because we just finished this. So I want to talk about how you can check user input, because I just said, right? I just said that if we try to change something to an int that's not an int, we would get an error. So we have what are called string classification methods, and this will return true or false depending on what that string is. It's basically saying, is that string numeric? So if I say this, and then I print, remember, it's a string method, so we use the string as the base there, and then we say string dot is numeric. If I print that, then it prints true. Does that string look numeric to you? Would you say it's numeric or no? Yes or no? Yes? Yes? I would say so too, except that when I'm asking is numeric, what it's doing is it's saying, is each character of this string a number? So would you say is numeric is true in this case? Is every character in that string a number? No. So what we're going to get here is false. So you have to be kind of careful what you use these for. But string classification methods are very useful. So this is false, obviously. There's also, this one is ALNUM, alphanumeric. So if it's a letter or number, each character a letter or number is true. You can check for, is it uppercase? And like we said, if it has a decimal, it's not numeric because it's looking at each character in the string. So string classification methods, you can find this online. I'm not expecting you to memorize this or anything like that, but just so you can see, there are lots and lots of those string classification methods that will tell you true or false based on what's in a string. So how might we use that? Well, we just finished talking about how we can branch our code to go one way or another based on whether something is true or false, right? So if we want to make sure that, let's say, something is a valid number before we turn it into a number, before we convert it to an integer, then we could say if the string is numeric, then convert it to an integer, to avoid getting an error in the case that somebody types TWO instead of the number 2. So that's how we're starting to build this out so that we can use these things. So just kind of tuck that in the back of your brain. We're not going to get too deep into looking before we leap yet. That's a form of error checking, but we will use these, yes.
When you put those in your code, would it be before the if, else, or would it be in between those?
It would probably be outside. It would be a code block that would contain if, elif, and else. So you would say, if that's a string, then do all of this other stuff. Or if it's a number, then do all of this other stuff. So like this. Okay, so if I use this in a code by that test string, 1, 2, 3, 4, if I say if str test is numeric, notice this has its own parentheses. That's why there's extra there. But a method has to have parentheses just like a function, even if it's empty. Okay, so it prints that it's a number, else it's not a number. Of course, this one would print it's a number because 1, 2, 3, 4 is numeric. Okay, so that's how you might use those. Now, if you wanted to use that before a conversion, before the guessing game, you would put your code in here for the whole guessing game, and down here you'd say, sorry, you have to enter a number. So you can put if inside of if. That's called nested if statements. We will be using those quite frequently.